Greetings, my peeps, and welcome to the All Things Basketball Podcast with your boy GD. In this episode, my Week 12 recap, guys, I'll be talking about some WNBA news, no agreement. And we passed January 9th, so I'll talk about that. Talk a little bit on Unrivaled as well. Also, in the NBA, Trae Young on the move to Washington. We'll break that down. And then also, could Ja Morant be heading elsewhere? We'll talk about that also. And if I can slide in, Rick Carlisle finally gets his 1,000th win. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, guys, it's your boy GD back with the All Things Basketball with GD podcast. And guys, we are entering week 13 in the NBA. So, you know, a lot is happening. We're sort of near the midway point of the season. But I have to bring you the week 12 recap, which I will do, as I always do. So, without any further delay, let's get into it. So I'm going to start with women's basketball news first. And we'll start with the WNBA, guys. Right now, the deadline passed. Remember, it was January 9th. No agreement was reached. So, and then from Brianna Stewart, she's one of the folks on the WNBPA, you have NACA, KS, she's amongst the leaders amongst those ladies. And she said no deadline extension is in the works. So right now they're working behind the scenes without the deadline looming. And then also, guys, they've said that they want teams to just start extending qualifying offers to players and core designating that they want to keep. And they want them to do this by January 20th, which seems odd since you don't have an agreement in place. But it seems they want teams to operate pretty much business as usual. So that seems odd, but I will read for you the statement by the WNBPA and what they had to say in that regard. So here's some of what they said. Despite demonstrating our willfulness to compromise in order to get a deal done, the WNBA and its teams have failed to meet us at the table with the same spirit and seriousness. Instead, they have remained committed to undervaluing player contributions, dismissing player concerns, and running out the clock. In the face of the league and team actions, the players remain undeterred, unafraid, and unwavering in their commitment to doing what is necessary to secure a transformational new CBA. Make no mistake, pay equity is not optional, and progress is long overdue. We urge the league and its teams to meet this moment. The players already have and willing to continue to do so. So that's pretty much the general theme of what they had to say in that regard. So am I confident a deal will be put in place within the next month? It's possible. It's just that basically there's working without a deadline. And now remember, the players voted on having a work stoppage. So I think something that probably won't come into fruition until after Unrivaled season is over. Then I think that's where you start to see, whoa, things are getting serious now. So I would say, yeah, so I think this could drag out until Unrivaled's over, to be honest with you. I think it could drag out that long, which is kind of problematic because February, like the end of January and into February, that's when you start signing your free agents and try to get a lay of the land as far as your roster, what it would look like. But remember, guys, pretty much all of the league is free agents, except for a handful of not even a handful of, like 2 veteran players. I think it's Lexi Brown and Kalani Brown. I think they're the only 2 that are under contract outside of the rookies who are on their rookie deal. So you have a lot of players there who can move various places. So, but they have to do something soon. So will it happen? We'll see. So that's that bit of business. And the Unrivaled president actually, he spoke about his league willing to be open to partnering with the WNBA. He basically said his door is open, he's open for business as far as some kind of partnership with them. But my whole thing is, if they can't get this CBA done, how are they even going to have a conversation with Unrivaled unless they get that done first? So I don't see them putting the cart before the horse as far as linking up with Unrivaled. So, and I'm of the opinion that when Kathy Engelbert went down to Unrivaled during the finals, she didn't like what she saw because she saw these players being taken care of and all that kind of stuff. So I think the WNBA and Unrivaled forming a partnership, I don't think that's on the table. I think that's a nice idea, but I don't think it will ever come to fruition. I could be wrong on that, but there you go. All right, guys. So that is it for that bit of business. Unrivaled. You got 2 games going on tonight. I believe the Phantom team is playing tonight. The Laces are playing tonight. The Lunar Owls and then the Mits. I think those are the 4 teams that are in action tonight. But as of now, there's only 2 undefeated teams. The Rose Ball Club, led by Chelsea Gray, of course, who's been playing lights out. She actually willed them to come from behind victory on that was on Saturday. Or was it on Friday? No, it was Saturday because I did watch. So there was that. And then they beat the young upstarts, the Breeze team, which I watched some of that as well. The best game of the weekend, in my estimation, guys, was the Laces playing the Miss. I mean, that was a fantastic game, guys. But in the end, the Mits get the win. Stewie, listen, I think she has a better team now than what she had last year. And you bring in the likes of Alyssa Gray, who's don't let that Southern draw fool you. She's an absolute killer on the court, man. And boy, what a combination of her and Stewie. And they're 2-0, by the way. Then next you have the Breeze team. They're 2-1. I think they're going to be in the mix. Like I said, they are. I like what I saw from them. Beckers to Malonga, that combination. Oh boy! I mean, man, if they're able to link up in the W, man. And then Rakia Jackson's playing out of her mind. Cameron Brink, it's good to see her back on the court doing her thing. My only worry with Cam is I think she got to eventually add some muscle on because she went down hard in both of the games I saw her play. And she got up, she's tough, but I think somewhere along the line, maybe after her, because she's getting married, maybe after her wedding, she's got to go somewhere and add some muscle on. But hey, she's playing good for them. So she definitely needs to do that. Then the fourth team, the Phantom team. Of course, you got the likes of Kelsey Plum and Aaliyah Boston. Kelsey Plum the other night, kind of needling Aaliyah Boston, talking about her elbows, the elbow she throw, and she, Aaliyah, she always tries to play innocent, but she do be throwing them elbows, but that's another story. Fifth, the Aces also at 1-1. Laces are going to be tough, man. They're just going to be tough with Jackie Young, Alyssa Thomas, Maddie Segrist, who was playing well for them as well. Brittany Sykes, oh my God, she played out of her mind in that game versus the Mets. I mean, she is a sensational addition to that Laces team. So they'll be in the running. The Vinyl team, like I say, you live and you die by Ryan Howard. She can shoot you into games. She can shoot you out of games. Dearica Hamby playing out of her mind. She just dropped 40 the other night. Ray Burrell, I love Ray Burrell and how she plays. She's long, active, and she's balling right now. Courtney Williams, they're still trying to incorporate her into their team, but I think once she gets settled, the Vinyl's going to be tough. And then, of course, you got an Erica Wheeler. Like I said, she's a player you can plug into any team, and she's an asset. And Brittany Griner finally played. She was sidelined the first two games. So, and then you got the two teams that are winless. The Hive team, that's a young team led by Sonia Centrone. You got a Kelsey Mitchell there, Ezzie McBagor, Tanaya Rivers, Natisha Heidemann, who's the vet on that squad, and Monique Billings. And then the Lunar Owls. I said once Nafisha went down, I knew they were going to have a hard time prior to that, but Nafisha going down just really crippled this team. Skylar Diggins hasn't played as of yet, so hopefully we'll see her soon. Marina Maury, Timi Van Banley, she's taking over for Nafisha since she's out. Aaliyah Edwards, and then you got the two Chicago players, Rebecca Allen and Rachel Banham. So there you go. And side note, as far as Unrivaled goes, Sabrina Ionescu, she will not be playing in Unrivaled. I thought this was a fait accompli, but they made the announcement about it. But she didn't even get drafted by any team. So, but yeah, she's nursing an injury, so she won't be playing in Unrivaled. So there you go. All right, guys. So that's that bit of business. Let us continue. Couple of things from women's college basketball. I watched LSU take down the number 2 team in the country, Texas. They beat them 70-65. What a game that was. Michaela Williams, guys. 20 points, 7 rebounds, 5 steals, guys, and 4 assists. Absolutely played a very good game for them. You had balanced scoring after that. You had Flau'jae. You had the others as well. And then for Texas, Madison Booker, she did all she can, man. 24 points, 7 rebounds, 2 steals. But it wasn't to be for Texas, and Texas goes down. Playing in the PMAC, on LSU's home floor. And Texas gets the loss. So this is their first loss of the season. They're knocked from the undefeated ranks. So kudos to Coach Kim Mulkey and the LSU Tigers, Lady Tigers, that is, for taking down Texas. And then Iowa State is reeling, guys. 3 straight losses, guys. They lose to unranked West Virginia, 83-70 on their home court. Wow. Audie Crooks, she had a 2010 double-double, 22 points, 10 rebounds. But the story of the game was Kira Wheeler, 25.7 rebounds, the senior. So Iowa State, they're on the ropes right now, guys. They're 14-3, and they got to turn things around because they're going to get in the thick of conference play between January and leading up to March. So they're going to have to get it together. So it is what it is. All right, guys. So that's enough of that. Let us move on to the NBA. And of course, we start as always, your players of the week. In the West, how about this name, guys? Peyton Watson for the Denver Nuggets. They went 3-1 for the week, guys. They won in overtime against the Philadelphia 76ers in Philly, by the way. They won that in overtime. And then they won at Boston. Pretty good win. And then they beat Milwaukee at home. Their one loss, they did lose at home to the Atlanta Hawks. And that was just coming off the heels of the Atlanta Hawks ridding themselves of Trae Young. I'll talk about that in a minute. But for the week, guys, Watson, 24.5 points per game, 8 rebounds, 4 assists is what he averaged, guys. He shot it 48.5% from the field, and from 3, guys, he shot it 70%. Wow. And from the free throw line, bit uneven. 8. He took 27 attempts, made 18. So, what can you do there? But Peyton Watson, mind you, remember, they're without the Joker. They're without Jonas Valanciunas. So Peyton Watson stepping up and stepping in for the Denver Nuggets, your player of the week in the West. And then in the East, Scottie Barnes, guys, for the Toronto Raptors. His team went 3-1 for the week, beating Atlanta at home, going on the road and beating Charlotte, and they beat Philly in overtime. So Philly has 2 overtime losses for the week, guys. And in that overtime, Scottie Barnes actually hit the game-winning free throw. He scores 31 points, 7 rebounds, and 8 assists, guys. And their one loss was to Boston. In Boston. And by the way, Scottie Barnes didn't play that game. So there you go. He averaged 22 points, over 6 rebounds, 6 assists, shot it from the field, close to 49%, He was only 1 for 9 from 3. Ouch. And then out of his 20 free throws attempts, he only misses 3. So, Scottie Barnes, your player of the week in the East. All right, guys, let us continue on. Top stories. Trae Young on the move to Washington, to the Washington Wizards, guys. Guys, I had reported the prior week that they were entertaining trades for Trae Young. I talked about Washington, guys, because a good friend of mine in the podcasting world, DJ Tracy Treese, she talked about it. And then, of course, I commented. And then on this show, I gave you a proposed deal. I said Trae Young for probably CJ McCollum, Bilal Coulibaly, and a draft pick. I got half of it right. It's Trae Young for CJ McCollum because the money, and Corey Kispert. So they decided to go with the other swingman for the Washington Wizards, and that's Corey Kispert, who's on a manageable contract, by the way, and they see a lot of upside in him. CJ McCollum, he's on the last year of a $30.6 million deal, so he has an expiring contract. So I think more likely than not, they'll hang on to him. He's a veteran guy. I think he'll come off the bench in the beginning, but eventually I think he kind of maneuvers his way into the starting lineup, I think. Because it'd be nice to have veteran presence on the floor there for this ball club. So, and as for Trae Young, a lot of people say, oh, why did they do it? I give you the one reason they would. 15-11, guys. That's their record without Trae Young. They were playing better without him. Let's call it what it is. So for execs to be like wondering that's the nature of the business, guys. If a team sees they're better off without you, they're going to move you. Simple as that. So he spent 7+ seasons there, played in nearly 500 games, averaging over 25 a game, nearly 10 assists, 3.5 rebounds, guys. Shooting it from the field, over 43%, over 35% from 3, and over 87% from the free throw line, guys. So, and then in his 7+ seasons, 4 All-Star appearances, 1 All-NBA third team, and he led the league in assists once. So Trae Young headed to Washington, guys. Now, he's on the books for this season, $46 million. He has a player option for the following season where he could be paid $49 million if he opts in. Would he do it? Sure. A lot of people say he'll probably opt out. I don't know. I don't think that's the wise move. I think he should opt in, to be honest with you. Because you're not going to be able to see a great chunk of him. In fact, let me talk about that now. Will Washington play Trae Young this season? Right now, he's nursing a quad injury. And they're taking their time as far as bringing him back to the court. But this is what CP, the franchise for Nick Fan TV, this is what he had to say as far as the situation in Washington with Trae Young. This is what he had to say. Take a listen.
again. This time as a result of the Knicks about to get screwed again. This time as a result of the Trae Young trade to the Washington Wizards. And here's why. The New York Knicks own the Washington Wizards 2026 first round pick. However, that pick is a top 8 protected pick. Wizards hit the lottery and that pick falls between 8 and 1. The Wizards will keep that pick. But if that pick should fall between 9 and 14, the Knicks will keep that pick. And the reason this is important is because various reports are stating that the Wizards don't really intend to play Trae Young all that much this season. Trae Young, who's been nursing ankle and quad injuries, intends to rehab in Washington, but all reports are indicating that the Wizards are obsessed with keeping this 2026 draft pick. And if you read between the lines, that means, ladies and gentlemen, they are tanking. The reason why this is an abomination is because the Knicks have already been screwed by a team that intentionally tanked their pick. And that was the Dallas Mavericks back in the 2023 season when they rested Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving in the final game against the Spurs. The Mavericks back then owed the Knicks a top 10 protected lottery pick. That pick turned out to be number 10, and the Mavericks would end up using that pick to draft Derek Lively. The Mavericks were only fined $750,000 for that. The irony is that reports are indicating that the NBA has been looking into new rules to prevent teams from tanking, including lightning pick protections to only top 4 or 14 and higher. Either way, it looks like the Knicks are about to get screwed again in this one. Of course, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Leave me on YouTube for highlights, analysis, and color.
So, you heard what CP said as far as Washington. Washington, they're a franchise that you don't even understand what they're doing half the time. So, you mean to tell me you're going to acquire Trae Young, you're going to sit on him, knowing that he has a player option, that he could opt out and go elsewhere? What would stop him from doing that? He has no loyalty to Washington. So if they were to do this, first of all, I think the Adam Silver and the powers that be should be involved in this thing. Once this guy gets healthy, he has to be out there playing. None of this playing for a half nonsense or sit him every other game. The league should be watching them carefully, number one. Number two, they do need to change the rules here. And what I didn't understand about that Dallas thing? Okay, they tanked and the Knicks didn't get the pick. Weren't the Knicks supposed to get their pick the following season? No questions asked? That's what I don't understand about this lottery protection nonsense. How are you going to have where the pick is protected and then it just goes away if it's not fulfilled? How does that work? So that's a discussion for another day. Maybe I could get somebody on who could help me figure that out. But I don't get that. So I'm of the mindset that Washington needs to play him because they need to see what they have. They need to see what they have. Are you going to continue to be a lottery picking team year after year after year with no fruit to show for it? I don't get that. So anyway, that's my take on that. I ain't going to go too far with that. And then for Atlanta, are they done making deals? Now, there's been rumors that they're highly interested in Anthony Davis. I think that's kind of changed with the latest injury news with Anthony Davis. I'll talk about that probably on the next episode. But they still have assets, guys. And among them, Kristaps Porzingis, who's on the last year of his deal. So you package him, you package maybe Zachary Ricochet, and you can bring back a nice piece. You could have did it to bring back AD, but his injury history. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. They even got maybe enough pieces to get them a Giannis if he's keeps chirping about wanting to be traded. You might have enough pieces to get him, but that's a story for another day as well. So I think Atlanta's probably not done. I think they're not done. I think they might have another move up this. So keep that in mind as we move towards the trade deadline, which is the beginning of next month. Actually, it's less than a month from now. Wow. That's how fast we're moving, guys. So there you go. All right, guys, let us continue. Speaking of trades, could Ja Morant be on the move next? Now, Ja Morant, guys, we know he's been in battle all season long here between the injuries, between the not seeing eye to eye with the coach there. So could he be on the move next? Right now, guys, he's owed $39.4 for this year. For next year, he's owed 42, a little over 42 million. And then the year after that, 44.8 million. So there's a few trade partners that could be out there. Miami, Ocho from Nightcap, he loves to talk about bringing Ja Morant to Miami. My only thing is, there's a such thing as the Heat culture. Does Morant fit the Heat culture? That's a loaded question, but they say Miami's a possible destination. Milwaukee could be another destination for Ja Morant. Not sure what you can give to get him as far as that goes. Probably a Kyle Kuzma will probably have to be included in that deal as far as big money goes. And some draft capital if you have any. So Milwaukee, a possibility. You probably, maybe Kuzma, Kevin Porter Jr., maybe that's enough to get it done. Not sure the salary as far as Milwaukee goes. Let me take a quick gander at that while I'm thinking about it. Kuzma making 22, Kevin Porter just making 5, so that's 27. You still have to make up for that. Draft picks probably, if they have any. You probably have to throw that in there. Maybe Corian Prince, maybe Gary Trent Jr., Gary Harris. You could move a Gary Harris and make it work. I would say Kuzma will probably be included. Maybe a Kevin Porter Jr., a Gary Harris. That puts you to about 30, and they do some draft picks, and that probably can get it done. So that's a possibility for Milwaukee. Minnesota Timberwolves, who's been looking for heir apparent to Mike Conley for the longest time. They're another team who can be a possibility as far as that goes. Right now, pieces they have, you probably have to move a Connolly, move a DiVincenzo maybe. Dillingham. Maybe Dillingham needs a change in scenery. You move him. Some draft capital if you have any, and you use that as well. Maybe Joe Ingles throw in there for good measure. So, they have the pieces. But I'd be interested to see how a Ja Morant and Anthony Edwards backcourt would work. I mean, it'd be probably the most athletic backcourt in the entire NBA, but Ja Morant, the Rex way he plays, so it'd be a nice backcourt. I ain't gonna lie. So there's that. Toronto, I don't understand how Toronto's in the mix. I don't get that at all. Would you keep a Quickly and then maybe move RJ Barrett? Because he's often injured, guys. So maybe move a RJ Barrett. Maybe a Grady Dick you move. That'll put you at 30, about 32. And then draft picks. Maybe that can get it done. I'll add you 2 more teams. Sacramento's a team that could use the services of Ja Morant. I would say for the Kings, you would probably have to include a Zach LaVine. Well, Zach LaVine makes a lot of money. But maybe you add something along with Ja Morant going there. Maybe that'll get it done. But I don't think you move a DeRozan. I don't think you do that. And right now you're down, you're on the outs with Dennis Schroeder. I'll talk about that later on. But so Sacramento's a place they could use a point guard. So bringing a Ja Morant there, that's probably be the only way you could get a guy of that caliber to come there. And they got pieces to make it work somehow, some way. And then the Brooklyn Nets, who's desperate for a star. Maybe he can go there. The only thing with the Nets is, what do you part with to make it work? Do you part with a Nick Claxton? Do you part with maybe a Terrence Mann? You part with maybe some of those young players that you drafted. You get rid of some of them. Cam Thomas, you definitely have to put in the mix as far as that goes, because he's expecting a big payday. So you pair a Ja Morant with a Michael Porter Jr., you're saying something over there if you can do that. If you can still hold on to Nick Claxton, that'll be a good move for you. But, the problem is they got a lot of young players not making a lot of money. So if that's the case, like I said, maybe you move Nick Claxton and then you make Ron Sharp your full-time center. Maybe. But, I mean, I think there's a market for Ja, but you have to bring him in with the understanding that, look, all that stuff in Memphis, you got to leave that behind. You here now, so you show us what you can do while you here. So we'll see. But Ja Morant on the market and could be moved by the trade deadline. So there you go. And then this last thing, and then I'll be done. Rick Carlisle finally gets his 1,000th win, guys. And I predicted it, guys. I predicted the night he'll do it. January 8th, on the road against the Charlotte Hornets, he gets the win, guys. He gets that win on that night. And in a game where, like I said, they went on the road to do it. It took a Herculean effort from Pascal Siakam, 30 points, 14 rebounds, to secure this win, guys. And also, getting contributions from a guy like TJ McCollum coming off your bench. 23 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds in the game, guys. And also 4 steals, by the way. To get Rick Carlisle, a team that was on a 13-game losing skid, he gets his 1,000th win. And it took him 23 seasons plus about 38 games to do it. Guys, he is the 11th coach in NBA history to reach this milestone. The other 10, Greg Popovich, Don Nelson, Lenny Wilkins, Jerry Sloan, Pat Riley, Doc Rivers, George Karl, Phil Jackson, Larry Brown, and Rick Adelman, guys. So congratulations to Rick Carlisle for reaching this milestone. Big milestone, 1,000 wins in the NBA. That's quite an accomplishment. So hats off to Rick Carlisle for the Indiana Pacers for reaching the milestone, guys. He finally did it. Took long enough, but congratulations. All right, guys. I thank you for listening as always. All things basketball with GD.com is the website. There you find all my clips, full episodes. Also, my donate buttons are on the site, guys. PayPal, buy me a coffee, and Spotify donate. Also, my Cash App is always in the scroll. $GD, that's sports do. $GD, that's sports do. Email the show at allthingsbasketballgd@outlook.com. There you can send any thoughts, anything you like to write. I'll read it on the air. I don't mind. And also, guys, YouTube channel is in play, of course. Also, podcast platforms. I'm on all of those. 5 stars, guys. Wherever you see it, 5 stars. And like the videos wherever you see it as well. As far as social media, TikTok, Instagram, some Facebook, some Blue Sky, and that's really about it. All right, guys, I will be back with part 2 of my week 12 recap. A lot of stuff went on, guys. Injury news, I'll get to that. Performances of the week, I'll do that as well. Like I said, Dennis Schroeder got himself in a bit of trouble with his team. We'll talk about that. Also, guys, just a lot more. I'll put it all together. All right, thank you for all. As always, guys, your listenership is so important to the show. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening. We'll talk soon. Take care.